Hello everybody, welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for Heroes and Villains. Each and every week we're going to do this. This is episode number 2, and at the weekend I will give you a shout out and you can tell me who your heroes and villains are of the week. A little bit of fun, but it gives me a pretty good idea who's had a good week and who's had a bad week. If you want to get involved in this, please follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom or subscribe here. The shout out goes everywhere. Patreon as well. We're going to do 3 of each. 3 heroes, 3 villains, and a little bit of discussion. Why? Here is our first hero this week. And it's an entire team. Look, Wycombe Wanderers. And you may or may not know that Wycombe Wanderers are bottom of the Championship. And they went into this weekend's game over at Huddersfield 12 points adrift. It's not been a good season for Wycombe. However, they're one of the smaller clubs that we've had, in the Championship, along with a Burton or a Yeovil, maybe. So it was always going to be a struggle, and they've found themselves down at the bottom. However, this weekend, for the first time in forever, Wycombe got a win, but it wasn't any ordinary win because they were 2-0 down after 41 minutes as well. So quite the surprise, quite the fight back, quite the show of spirit. Not great if you're a Huddersfield fan, but we'll bask in them being our heroes. Mehmeti got one back just before half-time, literally 3 minutes into stoppage time in the first half. Jacobson, he scored about 1 million penalties last season, didn't he? He equalised, and then Josh Knight, who we showed you in the picture, got the winner. It's been a rarity for Wycombe players to have huge smiles on their face, like Josh Knight has got there, the Leicester loanee. So Wycombe are our first heroes of the week. Our second hero, now we're going to get loads of keepers in this, aren't we? Our second hero is Aston Villa goalkeeper Emmy Martinez. Obviously, goalkeepers being what it is. We had David Raya in it last week as well. There may or may not be a keeper in the Villains. Keep on watching. But speaking of the Villains, and Aston Villa, they signed Martinez start of the season. Big fee, wasn't it, from Arsenal? Funnily enough, David Raya was kind of in that triangle. Maybe Dean Smith was going to go back to Brentford and get Raya. Or was Raya going to then go after Arsenal to replace Martinez and be back up over there? Anyway, what happened was Villa signed Martinez, and he's had a really good season, hasn't he? Him and Mings and Konza and Target and Cash with Douglas Luiz and John McGinn in front there have been a really formidable defence. However, they weren't that formidable at Brighton because they conceded a fair amount of chances, but Emmy Martinez was in fabulous form. I didn't watch the whole game, but I've watched the highlights, and a couple of incredible saves. One literal fingertip saves. I know we get told lots of stuff is a fingertip save. This actually was. A couple of deflected shots as well. And even Dean Smith admitted we didn't play very well. Our keeper bailed us out. So there you go. There's one for Emmy Martinez, who is our second hero, the Villa keeper. And there is Charlie Wyke. Now, Charlie Wyke plays up front for Sunderland, and he's holding a football which has been signed by his teammates, and he's holding up his 4 fingers, which will tell you everything you need to know. He's got the match ball, but not only did he hit a hat-trick, he scored 4 goals. Sunderland beat Doncaster 4-1. Wyke's been in really good form, actually, since Lee Johnson got there at Sunderland. 4 headers as well. I always forget the name of the guy who scored the hat-trick of headers for Czechoslovakia in the 1990 World Cup, when I used to watch my World Cup VHS over and over again when I was a kid. Was it Kubik or was it Skiravi? Someone will tell me in the comments. I asked a million times. I always forget. Anyway, 4 headers in one game, and all assisted by Aidan McGeady as well. Obviously, my status as an Ipswich fan makes me a little bit biased about this because Sunderland are pushing on where perhaps Ipswich might like to but aren't. But you got to give a shout out for a 4-goal haul, and all with the head as well. Outstanding stuff. So our third hero is Charlie Wyke. So we get into the villains. Now don't pile in the comments, but here they come. And remember, These are all suggested by you, so don't shoot the messenger either. There is Aitor Karanka, a very grumpy-looking Birmingham manager. Birmingham lost at home to Luton. Birmingham have lost 9 out of 11 home games, the last 11 home games this season. They've scored 6 points in the last 12 games. They're now 23rd in the Championship. Karanka has basically been given carte blanche to form his own team. Obviously, he hasn't spent a ton of money, but toward the end of last season, it was pretty much the cloth was cut, Pep Clotet left, and it was reset with Karanka this season, who, remember, took Middlesbrough up, and before the fallout or whatever happened at Forest, was up there in the top 2 as well. He's a good manager with a really good Championship pedigree, but Birmingham is just awful this season, and their fans are very cross with Mr. Karanka at the moment, who does not seem to be able to get a tune out of this team. Backed in the transfer window, Lecco, who was signed, is not in the team. McGree, not in the team. £2 million on Sam Cosgrove, hasn't started yet from January. That's a lot of money in Championship terms this season. And the Blues fans aren't happy. Neither is Karanka. And I suspect, given where they are and what's been happening at the bottom with people like QPR, Sheffield Wednesday, Rotherham and Forest, all in really good runs, I suspect he's under a fair bit of pressure and needs the results to turn soon. Hopefully we'll have him in the heroes column in 5 games' time and he'll have won 3 of them or something of that nature. But looks a bit glum at the moment. Aitor Karanka is our first villain. And again, we've got an entire another team. I had lots of nominations for either Bristol City or the Bristol City defence. That's Han-Noah Masengo chasing in Philip Zinkernagel. What is Zinkernagel doing? He's scoring Watford's 6th goal at the weekend. Watford 6, Bristol City 0. I don't know whether it should have been Dean Holden in that picture, but we'll just throw up Bristol City as the villain. I had all sorts of suggestions. Dean Holden, the Bristol City defence, Bristol City. We'll just go for Bristol City in general. 9 defeats in 12 for them. The fans feeling a little bit of a disconnect, I was told on my stream earlier. And 6-0 never really does anybody any good. Destroyed by Watford. Bit unlucky with a few injuries. Chris Martin's now out for the season. Mawson's gone back to Fulham. But some sense that they let their fans down with that huge collapse. I think they were 4 down, was it, in 36 minutes this weekend. So Bristol City go in as our second villains. And finally, Ilan Meslier, the Leeds United goalkeeper. Again, this has been suggested to me by presumably Leeds fans as well. It wasn't a good performance by Meslier in goal for Leeds. He was beaten on his near post twice. I mean, you know, it's not always a goalkeeper's mistake. But I know sometimes people say, oh, if you get beaten on your near post, you've got to look at the keeper. No, sometimes not. Sometimes it's just really good striking play. You can be the judge with the 2 Arsenal goals, but he also got caught with the ball at his feet and conceded a penalty for the second goal in this game as well. So not the best day for Meslier. Obviously, Kiko Casilla had been a much maligned Leeds keeper before. It is a tricky task to play behind the Bielsa defence. You know you're going to be asked to sweep up. You know you're going to be asked to ping it out to the fullbacks and into central midfielders' feet and whatnot. And there will be plenty of times where you'll see essentially 3 attacking players charging at 3 of your defenders in front. So it is a unique skill set, but it wasn't a good day for Meslier. This weekend, maybe if he had a good day, given the game ended 4-2, I know game state is all, and maybe Arsenal took their foot off the gas at 4-0, but maybe if he'd had a better game, Leeds may have had a bit more chance of taking something home from the Emirates. But as it stands, their London curse continues. Big fan of Meslier's, but not the best day. So he is our third villain. Thank you very much for everybody that got involved. Get your comments in on each of our 3 heroes. It was Wycombe, Emmy Martinez, and Charlie Wyke were the heroes this week. And Karanka, Bristol City, and Meslier were the villains. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's unfair? Anyone you would have had on there that we didn't include? It's a bit late now, but I'd still love to hear from you. And do get involved next week. As I say, follow at Benjamin Bloom or subscribe here on YouTube, or even better, over on Patreon, where you always get a bit of preferential treatment if you're a Patreon. Let me know what you think. As ever, this is supposed to be a little bit of fun, so don't pile in too much on the villains in the comments. And I will see you next week for more heroes and villains. Thank you for watching. Over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button, and to be notified every time we upload, ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.